Do we think that's really the good idea, though? Maybe in that situation, that's all you have. Excellent. In general, do you think we should hide and play dead? Let's listen to this lady. She was in Virginia Tech.
We heard the first shots around 9:40 a.m. I was sitting on the wall of the classroom, so in the hallway, and I could hear the shots getting closer and closer very quickly. I mean, there was only a few seconds between the first time we heard them and when we actually walked in. To me, it sounded like an axe being taken to a piece of wood. And our teacher, she opened the door, and she peered outside, and she immediately shut the door, and she said, "Call 911." And right then, he walked in just seconds after. There's absolutely no time to think or to duck or to take cover. People just kind of fell to the floor. And he immediately walked in shooting, and he went to the other side of the classroom, and he started going down the rows. He went down each row very quickly, very purposefully. And I remember thinking, your turn is coming, you're going to get shot. I mean, I didn't realize there was an active shooter, but I knew something bad was happening. He came back to our classroom 3 times, and on the 3rd time, he killed himself in the front of the class. In between each time he was there, you could just hear people crying and coughing, and the cell phone started ringing. When he was in our class, I remember trying not to breathe very much, so he couldn't tell I was alive. Because as my stomach was hitting the chair, I was thinking, you know, he can see me breathing, he can see me alive, and that was very scary. I'll never forget when the SWAT team first broke in at around 9:51. The officer in the front of the classroom said, "We have a lot of blacks in here." And at the time, I couldn't comprehend what he was talking about, but he meant triage codes. And I remember looking into the girl to my right and realizing, you know, what black meant. He looked over me and he said, first he said yellow, and then he changed it immediately and he said red, and that's when I first started panicking. I still couldn't speak. I was shot 3 times, lying on my back, and I remember thinking, what do you see? Like, what can you see on me that I can't, that you would change it from yellow to red? He killed 12 people in my classroom, including our teacher.
So she was shot 3 times. They had no choice at that point, and I've watched a TED Talk with her that she talked about the room, and we'll go to the room and whatnot that she was in, but she talks about if I had known I could have done something, 25 or 26 of us could have fought him off. He may have killed a few, but killed 12 without trying. Nobody fought him off, and she said if we'd have known that, we would not have hit on the desk. We would have attacked him with a desk, chair, books, computers, whatever. Fire extinguishers, attack him with something. Do not just tuck your head in the sand and play dead. It's not going to work. It will never get you out of there unless I'm just going to let it go there.
We heard that.
So, hide and hope. There you go. Brilliant idea. Remember, we began to talk about concealment and cover? This desk, what is it? Concealment or cover? Concealment, because it's not going to stop anything. And heaven forbid, if you're under that desk and the shooter walks around, you are not concealed anymore. Now you're trapped. So, do we ever think it's a good idea? So sometimes we want to hide behind something that is not bulletproof, all right? So we don't want to use something like that for concealment or cover. So you have to figure out, what do I use? What in this room will stop a bullet? Look around. What in this room will stop a bullet? Anybody? The desk? The table? No. The dividers? Nope. The wall? What's the wall made of? So, you can't see me, but you can certainly shoot me through that, right? So that's concealment. So what will protect you in this room? Nothing. You have to figure out, hiding is not a good idea in this environment. You have to get out. Or better than that, say Stacy's the bad person up at the door. Attack Stacy. Dancing Stacy. Attack Stacy. How many of us are in this room? A bunch. A bunch of you attack Stacy. Can he get all of you? No. Maybe he gets the first 1 or 2. Doesn't matter. I'm going to die when I'm done, not when he shoots me. So attack that that person. Do something. Please don't count on this as helping. All right, you're in deliberation. Basic strategy. An order of preference, but depending on the circumstances. What are you going to do? Avoid. Run. You're in this room. Can you deny him? No, you deny him. Don't let them in. They're in. Now, what do? Okay, fight or run. So you have to choose. Am I going to run? Am I going to deny it and hide? Okay, there's no hiding in here. Anything he shoots at, the bullets are going to penetrate. Okay, so if you can't get out, maybe some of you decide to run. Maybe some of you decide to fight. Can you stop it? Absolutely. What on your table can you use to stop the shooting? Chairs. All the Yetis and whatnots. Throw candy at them. I don't do something. You just cannot sit there. So either run or fight. Because you can't hide. It's not going to happen in this room. It's not happening. So you have to figure out, what am I going to do to live through this event? All right, so this is 2010 Panama City School Board meeting. You're in a meeting, so folks, you're in a meeting. What happens if somebody walks in the meeting? Stacy walks in. He just stuck food in his mouth. He's like, what? Stacy walks in. Thanks for being the guinea pig. With a gun. Stacy has a gun. Now what? First off, all of you facing me are in a terrible position because you cannot see the door. I'm sorry, I didn't set the tables up. Situational awareness. Pay attention to what's around you and what you can do. Think about ways out. And you'll get to see a lady in here in this event that's given a free pass, and she takes off and she turns around and comes back down the hallway and gets involved. So watch this school board meeting.
The technology that goes on the truck that you have there, and it's part of the plan that we have. Unfortunately, we're going to have problems with this meeting, but this will be the first step in that whole process. Everybody in this room.
We painted a big V on the wall for Vendetta. We've got an agenda. Yes, gun. And he's letting everybody go except the school board. Now watch the hallway in the back.
Hey, sir. John is letting Tom. He's talking. John, go ahead.
Watch the lady. Did she do anything positive? No, but she came back and struggled with the purse. She did something. So what happened then? Nothing bad. She did what she needed to do. She came back and reacted because she's already out. He's standing there with a gun. He's facing the school board. If she'd had a different device, she might have been better suited to handle it. But the point is, she did something. All right? Was it the best choice? No. Could he have killed her? Certainly. But she did something. Let's go back here for a minute. It doesn't show the rest of what's happening over here. The whole video goes on. The gentleman in the first part says, "Hey, sir, it's a security guard." Sorry, Deacon, it's your turn. Deacon yells at the guy, "Hey, is that a gun?" Well, Deacon's not the other guy, but the security guard asks him if it's a gun. Who comes into an event without a real gun? What's his intention when he shows up with that gun? To do something. So automatically assume, even if it's a Daisy BB pistol, you cannot tell it's a gun. You must react as though it's a real gun because it's a real gun as far as we know. So he did what he had to do. The lady came back, and hats off to that lady for having a purse. She should have had a brick in it. A brick would have been excellent. Trying to get over here again. So he comes in with a gun. He wants to complain because his wife got laid off and the school board raised taxes. great reason to go into a school board meeting and start killing people, right? So he went in and he shot that guy, point blank, pow. And then the shooting began, pow, pow, pow. And they killed him. And we're pretty sure he was shooting blanks out of his gun. So do I care? No. You have a gun. I will equal it or match it with a bigger gun, hopefully, and faster. But he shot at everybody in that school board, and they went down fighting because he did get killed by the police. Because that was probably his goal. Because he was too much of a coward to do it himself. He's going to make somebody else live with that reality of suicide by cop. So he did what he had to do. If he had had no bullets, that man would not be here today. Because he point blank shot him and he didn't react because he didn't have bullets. He had blanks.
And for the technology that goes to some of the trucks you have there.
Okay, so we're at the avoid part. Run, leave ASAP. Know your exits. Call 911. Who's going to call 911 first on their way out the door? Nobody, because that's after you're safe. Okay? Because remember that 3 minutes is 3 minutes, but you don't have time to call 911 while you're defending yourself. So tell me how many exits are in this building right now? You're not going to be able to count them all because you can't see them all. How many exits? You have the doors. You have the door over here to the hallways. More doors. Doors out here. Okay, so have you thought about all your choices? What can you do? Where are my doors? We're all going to run that way because that's a response. Everybody's going to follow everybody. Somebody might go that way. I don't know who's going out here, but please do. But know where you're going, what your options are when you're there. You just, folks, the days of just head in the sand are gone. You can't go sit in the movie theater and just enjoy it. You have to watch where your exits are. You have to watch people sitting down in the restaurant beside you. Watch people sitting down in the pew next to you at church. You constantly have to pay attention to things around you because you do not get a choice. All right. Let's see what this says. Jewish deli. Avoid, replace, current. Oh, disregard all that. That's craziness. DPS crazy. January 15th, gunmen who pledged allegiance to the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant attacked people in that hyper-catcher, kosher food, super-et place. That's a lot of words. He attacked them. They got out, okay? But he planned it, so you go into a convenience store. Do you think about what are my exits? Does anybody think about that besides me? Where am I going to go if I have to get out? Because clearly he went in with a gun, and out come the people. So they avoided him by getting out and running. Sometimes you have to run, because sitting there again is not your best option, and hiding is not the answer. So back to Virginia Tech. I'll get to there in a minute. But Virginia Tech has a lot of good information we learned from that lady and the other people that lived through that event, because some hid, some did not. Some deliberated and made a decisive moment and got out. So there are options for everything. You just have to make your mind work. All right, here you go. Consider secondary exits. So, what are my exits here? Don't limit yourself to doors. Remember, doors are not the only exit. Think about secondary exits, windows, fire escapes, even breaking through drywall. Can you break through this drywall if that was closed off? Yes. You can get through any wall in this sheetrock. You can get through it very simply. But what are your options? So you're looking right there. In the bottom right corner by the ladder is a person crouched down hiding. How's that working for? Probably not the best, right? Is there another way? The door, is the door blocked? The door's to the right side. See the push bar on the door? And there's a climbing out. Those are options, right? You have to get out. Climb up. Do something other than just sit there. So there's the door. There's a fire exit. Two options. Yet that person's hiding in the corner. I want out if that's the issue. If I'm there and I don't have another option, I want out. Use a way. Use a door, use a window. Make a hole in the wall. All right, so you have to deny it now. So we're gonna go, we'll just take this since most of y'all are educators. How do we deny it? We lock the doors. Are those doors locked, Stacy? Yes. All those glass doors are locked? Perfect, doors are locked. Step one. Classroom doors locked? Okay, your doors are locked. What's next? Lights out. Turn the lights out. Not in. Turn out the lights. Because the shooter has an agenda to kill people. And if he does not see people, he's probably not going to go there. Also, get out of sight. Don't turn the lights out and stand right in front of the window. Some of our classrooms have many windows. Get out of the view of the windows and the doors. Hide yourself. Turn out the lights, lock the doors. Do not give them an option, okay? So the locked door can be the simplest and quickest way to stop it. Because the shooter walks up, grabs the doorknob, and it's locked. Do you think he's going to spend time kicking that door in because he can't see or hear anything? Cell phones are silenced. Lights are off. Windows are covered. You can't see in. Doors are locked. Is he going to spend time to get in that door, maybe waste precious ammo in his world, to an empty room? Or does he go down the hallway to the next room because that person was not as prepared, did not lock the door, or didn't shut the lights out, or the cell phones are on vibrate and he could hear them vibrate? Is that person going to be the victim? Then he's going to go to that one because this room is completely not available. So take the simplest tasks and use it. What ways can you lock your door besides the door lock? The doors swing in. What can you use to keep your door locked? The wedge. Kick the wedge in. Screwdriver. The screwdriver, stick in the door. There's any number of things, folks. Your creation in your brain is what's going to help you. Because you've created, said, okay, this is bad. I have a floor wedgie, or wedge. The floor wedge is none of your business. I have a wedge. Now please, the wooden wedge is better than the rubbery ones because the rubbery ones, maybe they stick better, but you can squish them, so the wood one's hard to squish. But you have a screwdriver, you have a wedge, you have a belt, a cable, you have any number of any things that you can possibly think of. Siri, how do I lock my door during a computer? Look at the options, folks. Amazon has more things that I've bought just for show and tell than you can imagine to lock your door. But make sure the phones are off, folks. Again, does anybody know how loud a vibrating phone is? It's ridiculously loud in a quiet room. What about the children? How do you keep them quiet?
Lollipop.
Yeah?
Give them a lollipop.
Lollipops in a bucket with no wrapper so they can't crinkle. That's not my idea. One of y'all came up with that. That's excellent. Give them candy. Yeah, give them sugar. Great. We're going to spin them up so we can crash it later. But you need to do something with them, folks. We have to figure out what to do with our kids, what to do with our doors, and how to deny it. After we've denied it, okay, we're going to barricade it. Heavier is better. What do we have in here that's really heavy? Okay, the table holding things, you can dump those in front of the doors. What do we have that's heavy? We're not moving yet. Maybe do something else. Step people. Do something. Stack something in front of the doors if the doors open in. If they open out, does it help to block the door? That way? Not so much. So maybe you need to figure out how to attach something. Look over at that set of doors, please. See the doorknob on the left? Can you attach something to that doorknob to the other door so that door can't open? Sure. The doors behind you, can you attach a belt through the two push bars and latch it so it can't open? Sure. Can they shoot through the glass? Of course. And he did, or she, they did at Tennessee. Where? Tennessee. They. Not sure. There's a transitional situation. They locked the door, or shot through the glass doors. Have we seen that before? I've not, but they shot through the glass doors. That person came in and went on their rampage. So the doors aren't going to stop them, right? Your only goal is to maybe slow them down. That person was intentionally going in that school to kill people. So they knew the way that person was going in was through the doors. All right, so barricading. Door stops are good. There's a number of things that you can use. Stacy's aware of all the things. Back to this. What are we hiding? We're hiding in the corner. What's that? It's something big. Okay, active participation is saving oneself in an ongoing process. Constantly be looking for what you can use to block the door. So that, something heavy, block the door. I think before I block the door, I'm just going to get out because there's two exits right there. In the corner is not the best place to be. All right, door stops or wedges. Great idea. If you get the cheap one, not such a great idea. So we've talked about different aspects of wooden ones maybe, but the wooden one can be slippery. Sometimes it can slide on the floor. So what if you get a wooden one that has a rubber bottom? A rubber edge or skin on it so it doesn't slide. Stacy knows we've talked a lot about safety things and stuff you can do, but that is the simplest door lock you have for an in-opening door. And then teachers. I'm gonna pick on teachers. What happens to that door stop during the day when your kids are around?
They kick it.
Oh, great, hallway hockey. They did it to me at Somerset. I'm like, go get that. Then you might have Stacy put it on the lanyard so it's attached. So it can't go very far, so you have your stop because the last thing you want to do is have an emergency look for your door stopper and body kicking down the hallway. So that's on you. Just so you know. Okay, how about outward opening doors? Ropes. They make tension sleeves. These doors, look on top of the doors over here, the automatic closures they have. That arm, they make a sleeve that goes over that arm that will stop them from getting in. There is a number of defensive, especially since pre-Uvalde, but Uvalde made it more enhanced the things that are available to lock the doors. Now, who's tall? You're tall. Stand up, please. Yes, you. Yes. How tall are you? 5'3". Oh, I know. Can you reach that? No. So is that an option for her? Sure, she has a ladder, but then what happened with the ladder during class? We're not going there. So think of something that works for the vertical challenge. Because we cannot use that. Fair? We have to use something that works for everyone. More locks. See, the devices are just out of control now. Will that work? Certainly. But you have to have the cognitive ability during a stressful situation when you're going from human brain to lizard brain to think, okay, I've got to lock the doors, turn off the lights, get the kids quiet, turn off the cell phones, shut the shades, and then put that in place. No. Fireworks in the hallway, right? Who's going to panic? What's your first priority as a teacher?
Children.
Kids. So you're going to shove the kids in the corner. They're going to be freaking out because they heard gunfire. Do you think you have time or the ability to get that thing in place? It'd be great if you did, but I'm not going to count on your ability to go from human to lizard brain while defending your children, locking your door, shutting your shades, shutting the lights, and then put that in place. Great idea, if it works, if you can do it. Diane Sawyer was to tell us something. Okay, we talked before I put her on. Caitlin Rogue, a school teacher, Handy Hook, was able to save her kids in the classroom. Very compelling interview, Diane Sawyer. In perspective as a teacher, what are the kids doing? What's happening? What are you going to do? I'm pretty sure she's going to talk. I may be wrong. Awkward pause. So there she stands, all quiet. Okay, ignore her. She's not doing very well for us anyway. All right, so she talks to the teacher. So what do? Kids are getting out of control. You're having an emergency. You have to do something. What did she do? What did Caitlin do? She saved the kids because she did something. All right, and that's the whole point of this is to do something. Sorry, Diane, you can help us. All right. So now you've locked the door, you've avoided it, right? You've locked it, lights out, windows covered, kids quiet. Now, where are you going to stand? Well, first off, you have little kids, so it's like herding cats, right? So you have to do something with the cats. Get in the corner, do whatever it is you plan to do because you've practiced and rehearsed this. You're doing something. Do that. Now the shooter gets in. What do? You've denied, you've tried to hide. You need to position yourself so that you can attack the attacker if they get in the door. Do we have fire extinguishers in the rooms?
Yes.
Are we fixing that? Yes. Can you use your fire extinguisher?
Yes.
Absolutely. What's the first thing you can do with it?
Spray it.
Put out the fire. Or spray him in the face, right? You spray him in the face. Then what can you do with that if he can't stir? Beat the pulp out of them. Yeah. Because they're just not coming in to talk, right? They're just not coming in to threaten. Stacy's going to show me fire extinguisher. We're going to see how it works. No, we're not. What can you do with it? I get props. I'm going to try not to fall down. Is this your fault? Okay, so what can we do with it? Spray it? Who's never used a fire extinguisher in their life? Do y'all have fire trucks? Do y'all practice this? We practice it all the time in the military. It gets kind of expensive too because when you shoot it, it's done. So what do you do with it? You stand by the door opens away from me. I'm right here by the door, I have no other option, the kids are quiet. In the face. Is that going to disrupt their behavior? Yes. And then what do you do with it? Ooh, great handle. Can I whack? Yes. If the arm comes in, can I hit the arm and knock the gun out? Sure, but first thing I'm going to do is spray him in the face and disorient everything, and then continue to stop the heartbeat, because that's my goal. They're not there to communicate, folks. They're there to do violence to kids and you. So you must stop them, and you must use whatever option you have. Fire extinguisher, great tool. What else do we have? Great tools. Laptop? Anybody been hit in the head with a flying laptop? Yeah, not me, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to feel good. So let's don't practice with the laptops, folks. I'm not getting fired because y'all broke your laptop because I said throw it. Can you grab the gun? Yes. Can you control the gun? You're 5'3". Can you control a 6'1" man with a gun? Maybe. Depends. How strong is your will? How much do you want to win? You want to win with your life, right? So grab the gun, fight, poke them in the eyes, throw staplers at them, water bottles, anything to disrupt what they're doing. We have to disrupt that, and do not stay stagnant unless you're waiting for them at the door. I don't want you to be waiting with the kids at the door. The kids would be somewhere else where you're going to put them, and you get the door and you're waiting to defend it, because if he gets in, what happened in Uvalde? Got in the first room, went into the second room. Who fought him? And we're not even going to talk about the failure on law enforcement side, because everything I'm standing here telling you is your job is to stop it before I get there. Because if I get there, it's obviously too late. It's been going on. So we have to figure out how to stop it. Am I going to be a victim? I hope not, because you can shoot me, but I'm not dying till I'm done. It's been proven, it's a mental fact. If you don't believe it, you can shoot me. I am not going to die till I'm done fighting. Please don't test that. But that's my thought, so I'm going to fight. So you have to do something. Continue to fight. Fight like your life is depending on it. Don't stop. And oh wait, it's not a fair fight. Is there a fair fight, anybody? Who's ever been beat up by a bully? Don't raise your hand. I'm going to pick on you, Brad. Fair fight. What's fair about fighting? Nothing. Use everything at your resources. Can you poke them in the eyes? Yes. You ever been stabbed in the eye with a pencil? No. It's going to hurt. Can you kick them someplace valuable? Yes. Male or female? Use what you have to stop them. Your life and the life of your kids depend on that. You must fight. You must fight with your life. All right, watch this guy. The gentleman looks for alternatives in a situation. Well, appears to be talking to someone. Let's put him on. Something's happening. Something's happening. I need a glass of wine. Oh, wait. Tool. Swig first, whack. So what does he do? What's happening down here? There's a brilliant idea. Lay down in the hallway or in the aisle. They'll never see you. You bled right in. Non-nostril, folks. This guy grabbed a bottle of wine from the middle of the section. He didn't get the expensive ones and went towards the person. Is that a good option? What is he going to do? He's going to crack him on half a sip, right? So he's going to do something. What is this lady doing? Waiting to be the next victim. Not her fault. She's never been trained. You guys, this is your second year for most of you to see this. And I'm sorry it's repetitive, but you have to do something to stay alive. You cannot just sit. Well, you can, but it doesn't work so well. Here we go again. Get my wine up. Cheap one, yep. Good grip. Puts the phone away. I might have the phone on record if I can, because I want somebody to see my heroics. All right, here we go. This gentleman, his name is not on the screen. So, Brian Murphy, he's a policeman. He goes to a call for a man with a gun. Brian gets out of the car and starts getting shot, taking fire. And he gets shot. Look at the scar on his neck. He gets shot. Let me see if it shows me how many times he gets shot. It doesn't say. He gets shot, I think, 13 times. 13 times the policeman is shot. And all he can think of is, I'm not dying on TV in front of my wife and kids. Not today. So he fought his way through it. He was shot, he crawled back to the car, got his rifle out, got shot some more. He ended up putting the guy down. But he was shot. Now on TV, we see somebody shot, boom, they're dead. Real life? No. Where's my nurse? Real life? No. Not at all. Does not happen that way. Maybe you're lucky it does. Normally, no. He fought because his wife and kids were not going to see him die on TV. Fair. What's your motivation? I don't want to wet myself. That's my motivation. I don't want to pee myself in public. What's your motivation, folks? There's something that motivates you to think, I'm not dying today. I don't care who you are or what you think you're doing. I'm not dying today. And he did not. He was shot many times. All right, so you're in your surroundings. A boy, you can run, deny if you can, defend if you can. If you cannot stop them and they get in, can you fight them? You have to fight them, all right? All right, so take 2 minutes to discuss with the audience. Where will they go to avoid? Yeah, we've done that already. In this room, how can you avoid the shooting or the killing? You can't. We're kind of stuck because, well, the doors are locked, that's positive. Somebody starts to shoot through the doors, okay, we all flee out the other doors. Fair. That's an option, not your best option. So let's go transition to your office or for your classroom. What can you do? Where will you go? Who's thought of this? Teachers, how many of you have practiced a mock event? Not with the kids, because it's traumatic for them, I get it. That's not my place to say. We do fire drills, right? How often do a fire drill, Karen?
Once a month.
Is that the law or the policy? I don't know if there's a law or not, Master. You're not?
What we have to do for accreditation.
Okay, so once a month. Active shooter drills. How often?
We don't do it as a school.
So the kids know in a fire drill, right? Lemons line up, except for Parkland, bad call, it happens. Kids, how many kids have died in a school fire since 1958? 0. How many of Jesse can't get in? Don't leave it. Okay. Well, you need to find this guy, let him in. How many kids have died in school shootings? A bunch. Do we practice school active shooter drills? No, because, well, first off, I understand the logistics of it. Do we want to scare the cats? Do we want to freak them out and panic them? No, I can't tell you how to do it, but can we as staff and teachers practice these drills? Can we practice them without the kids? Because I understand the drama to the children. This is real world. So the world, things have changed since. Who's the longest surviving teacher in the room? Who's been teaching the longest? How long?
43 years.
Holy crap, that's almost as old as I am. All right, so when you started teaching, did you ever consider an active shooting event?
Never.
Wasn't a thing, right? Fire drill, got out of the fire drill. Things have changed. This is a different world, I'm sorry to say that. We have got to do something else because things have changed, so maybe as staff, you can do these things without the children. I don't know how, I don't know what you're gonna do, that's logistics. I'm just telling you, we have to practice something. Something has to be practiced. Again, it goes back to doing nothing is nothing. So what you do does matter, right? That's what the girl in Virginia Tech told us. She laid down and played dead and tried not to breathe so they couldn't see she was alive, and he shot her 2 more times. Playing possum was not her strong suit. Right? Is it any of ours when there's a guy walking through the room with a gun? No, it's not. So we need to understand everything you do matters. Everything you do matters. Because you're waiting how long for the police to arrive? 3 minutes. If it happens in 3 minutes, I will buy you a steak dinner. It is. I've only got 29 and a half years of law enforcement. Unless I'm in the parking lot, just by chance writing a ticket to Pastor Tucker because he sped through something, and I'm out and I got him pulled over because he's on his way to work, and I got him, sorry, Pastor. And I'm writing a ticket, and it happens, bang, okay, I can be there in 3 minutes because I am right here. But if I'm down at Blanco and at the Lone Star Cafe or Longhorn Cafe or whatever it's called, and I'm having lunch, can I get out of my chair, into my car, and be here in 3 minutes from that short distance with traffic? No. So you have got to stop it. Or maybe you can't stop. You have to do something. Somebody addressed I talk about the Uvalde thing because it breaks my heart, but it's very real and near and dear to us. We have to remember and learn from these things. So I asked a question about, well, would you like teachers to protect your kids? Oh, no. I said, why not? Well, the 150 policemen there didn't do anything. Again, my goal is for you to do something and slow it down or stop it before the police even get called. That's possible, all right? You can do that. Don't wait for the police to arrive and then start fighting, because the fight's probably over. Okay, the attack starts, what do you do? Primary exit, boom, you're out. You made it. Good for you, you avoided it. Wait, stop. Can't get out, now what? So I have to deny it. How do I deny it? While I'm denying it, I find other exits, these 2 exits. Okay, these are way out. The doors are push bars, right? Where you at? Stacy? Yes. Quit hiding, we couldn't see you. So you get out, all right? So we find another exit, we get out. Exit, we denied it, we avoided it, we denied it, good. Boom, we win. What happens if we don't win? Now we have to defend it. How do we defend it? However we can, folks. There's enough of us in here to put this together in our brains. And y'all are educators and professionals. You have the ability to think outside the box. Think outside the box. What can I do? Or call me and I'll help you think outside the box with what I know you can do. But you have to think of it yourself or practice it, or it won't do any good. All right, here we go. Back at Virginia Tech. I told you we were coming back here. Norris Hall. This is where the shooting happened. The hallway in Norris's. This is where he started his shooting rampage. Now, please, do y'all remember a lot about the shooting? Except it was so violent and she was shot 3 times. He locked the bottom doors with chains. Before he did that, he was in a sorority or something and shot some people. He already killed some people. Then he went. Was it intentional? He had chains and locks. Premeditated. Did he plan this? Yeah, he did, because he wrapped the chain around, locked the doors. And what did he do there? Do anybody remember what he did? He put a sign in. Attempt to open the doors and the bomb will go off. Now what? 3 minutes for the policeman just got way longer because I have to give EOD to check the doors now. or I just get through it and take my chances. Here's the hallway. Here's where it began. All right. So let's see, start here. Suspect had killed 2 students earlier in the morning, which led to the very large police presence. So the cops were there, which is nice, because if they had not been there, would they have been there in time? Would the time have changed? Yes. Did it make much difference? No, because he locked the doors. All right, so the suspect person entered room 206, bam. Then he went to 207, random, 206 to 207. From 207, he went to 211. Every person in 211 was shot. He shot everybody in her class at least once. 11 were killed, 6 were wounded. There was a third room attack, and then he revisited the suspect. He came back 2 more times. He went to room 204, where Professor Liverstew, something like that, Holocaust survivor, he blocked the door with his body. In his mind, as he probably said during the Holocaust, not today. Today I don't die. He blocked the door, and his kids got out the window, and he died. They killed him through the door because the door's not covered. It's concealment. But he stopped that man from getting in his room. Saved numerous lives. 205 was a complete denial. They completely blocked him out of 205, and they went out the windows. Nobody died in 205. There's the numbers. 205 was brilliant. So here's the list of how it worked. Those shot and those killed in 211, 100% shot, 65, 70% killed. 205, nobody was shot, nobody died. 204, that's where the professor died. Blocking the kids so they could get out the window. So what did the professor decide at that point? I am living through the Holocaust. He's a survivor. So what does he know? I've got to stop. I've got to do something. What did 211 do? Nothing. They stood there or sat there because they didn't know, never thought to plan, to pre-think, to decide what can I do. They did nothing. And every one of them was shot at least one time. Nothing is not the answer, folks. You do not get to do nothing. Well, you can. It's not going to be positive if you do. All right? You've got to do something. All right, so the police arrive. Now what happens? Follow commands. Show your palms. Why do I want to see palms of your hands? Because you're not holding something, right? Can I hold a gun in my hand? And folks, if you hold your hands up too, please get them above your shoulders, because right here, this is where my gun's pointed. Remember, get your hands up here. Please don't be holding anything. For heaven's sakes, do not be this person. Oh, hey, officer. Because when you turn and swing at me that way, the next sound you hear is, because that's the sound of the bullet going through, because I shot you because you did something completely ridiculous with an object in your hand. And I'm in a shooting event and I'm trying to save people. What do? I react the way I'm trained, so please, nothing in your hands. Don't move. Just stand, and the cops are going to tell you what to do. And in loud, obnoxious, probably vulgar manner, they're going to cuss and scream at you because their adrenaline's pumped up to the roof. They're trying to keep you alive, and you're moving. So stand still, open your hands, and just wait for instructions. So, and please remember, who's ever been pulled over by a policeman? By me? Nobody by me. You've been pulled over by a cop. Is it stressful? I'm a policeman. It's stressful. I get pulled over. I'm like, I'm going to get a ticket. Is it stressful? Yes, it is. But think about the policeman. Is it stressful for him? He's walking up to a car. He doesn't know what's in it. Windows are tinted. Windows are closed. There's movement in the back seat. Is he stressed out? Yes. Is he coming to a school shooting? Is it stressful? Oh, good Lord, it's stressful. Is he going to react with his stress? Yes. So please, let them win whatever they're doing. They're going to disarm you. They're going to protect everyone, but you have to just follow the instructions. Please follow the instructions. All right. So what's the purpose of law enforcement? What's the very most first thing? We're almost done, buddy. The very first thing a policeman has to do when he comes to a scene. Stop the killing. That's what Katrina said. They walked over, they told me I was a black. Or they were counting blacks and then now it's a yellow, now I'm a red. I don't have time for that. I come into your school shooting, the first thing I and every other policeman in the town that arrive are going to do is stop the person with a gun. The bad person with a gun, not a good person who may be plainclothes policeman somewhere. We're going to stop the shooting. We don't have time to stop the dying. That's for EMS. That's for nursing. We don't have time for that. Why? Because while I'm stopping to bandage you up, I can be killed. Not happening, I have to stop the killer. That's what the cops do, to stop the killer. Then they'll go back and try to stop the dying. We have medics that are policemen now. Please understand, the fire department and EMS will not come to the scene of an active shooter. They will stage off a block away and say, hey, Medic 12, we're a block away waiting for the clearance, because they are not carrying guns and they are not going to be killed. So they will wait for us to stop the killing. Then they'll come in. All right. So we have policemen. If we stop the killing, and have you all seen on TV where the policeman shoots the bad guy and then they start bandaging, trying to help him? Okay, we have to save them. So we stop the shooting, then we bandage up the people we can save, and then we evacuate the injured. Oh, see, this is it.
Are you ready? If you're not cool, I'm not watching it.
This is a deputy getting people out of the building after a shoot get in.
Your hands right in the center. I'm always ready. You're going to be left and left.
Somebody's clearly videotaping. Holding the phone, not your best idea, but I get it. Just listen to the instructions.
I'll take a vote for you after damn sure. Just be cool, okay?
So he's got to make sure everybody's safe. Let's take that hallway back to Parkland. Bam, 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 bam. Put the gun away, walk out with the kids. How's the policeman know? He doesn't know. Maybe with live spot we have an advantage and we can identify him closely and say, okay, he's in this hallway. Before we let the people out of the hallway, let's put them all on the ground, handcuff them all, search them all, and get the bad guy out. We don't know who the bad guy is at all, normally, unless there's one person, but if he puts a gun away and walks out, he gets out.
Are you ready?
All right, so medical comes in. Yep, tell Medic 12 we're secure. Medic 12 rolls up. They're going to wait until it's secure, though. They are not going to walk into this event. All right, so they come in. They're going to help the people they can help and seek additional. How about training? Who's been stop and bleed trained? I know you have. You're the trainer. Amy's back to raising her hand. Who else has not? Did we not have stop and bleed last year? Amy, did we do it?
For some,
Oh, so we're going to do it this year, I assume. Stop the bleed. Everybody needs that course. Why? Because you need to stop somebody's bleeding. It might be your own, or it might be mine, and I'm real sensitive to bleeding. So y'all need to go take a class and learn what to do with it. But remember, EMS is not coming in right away. First thing, be safe. We stop the killing, and then we stop the bleeding. Those are the orders. Do not try to stop the bleeding while the killing is still going on. Just not. You need to make sure everybody's safe and the killing is stopped. All right, stop the bleed guide. This is to empower you as civilian educators. Apply pressure. Dress the wound. Who carries a tourniquet with them? Besides me. I know a guy that carried a tourniquet for 3 years. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. But when he whipped it out to show me, it was not a tourniquet. It was flex cuffs. Somebody gave him flex handcuffs and it looks like a tourniquet, but it's, folks, the point is if you have a tourniquet, know how to use it. And don't just put it away for later. It does you no good if it's A, in cellophane wrapping, B, it's not been pre-prep and you've never used it. So Amy's going to teach that class, I hope. I just told her, stop the bleed. We need to know how to use a tourniquet. Who's your tourniquet for if you carry a tourniquet?
yourself.
Myself. If you need a tourniquet, you should carry your own. Sounds kind of rude, right? Well, the point is for me to stop my bleeding because I was not good enough to not get shot and I got shot, then I can help defend you. Tourniquets are a great idea. If you want to reach out to me, I'll show you where I'm ordering them from, because I order them for various people. Stop the bleeding after you stop the killing. Now, personnel issues. This is way out of my wheelhouse because I'm not the guy in charge of telling the media anything. All right? Because that's coming. So what do you do? Who expects nothing from you? Who's been in the car wreck? All right. Do you have PTSD from the car wreck? Are you a little nervous at certain events that are similar to what you did? It's going to be the same thing with this. You get into an event, an active shooter type, an active killing event, where you're going to expect some residual brain functions. Sleepless nights, inability to focus, nervousness while driving. Are these things going to happen? Yes. What do you do about it? What do you do about the nightmares? PTSD, what do you do about it? You deal with it. That's what we do. We deal with things. You have to deal with it. You probably should see a professional. Okay? See somebody who can tell you, they'll talk you through and help you understand what you experienced and make it acceptable so you can live on, because if you don't, then you're just stuck. And who wants to be stuck the rest of their life? Am I almost done? Oh, apparently I'm done. My wife's done here. We're almost there. Sorry, guys. It's my mind. Time goes flying. Okay, so I'll shut it down here. Who remembers the name of the guy in I'm waiting for it. Aurora movie theater? Who remembers that guy's name? Except for certain people at table 9, who knows the name of the person in Uvalde? Who can remember that name? The point is, who cares? Do not give them notoriety. Don't give them a name. The kid at Sandy Hook, the guy at Parkland, who cares? Do not give them what they want, and that's notoriety, and that's, I'm a historical event because I did a mass shooting. Who cares? There's a name for them, but I won't use it in here. Don't give them a name. Let them be whatever they are. We don't care. We're going to stop what we have to stop and continue with our life. Is that fair? Absolutely. Please don't give them a name. Don't care. Don't have time for them. Sorry. I don't have time for them. My wife told me that. All right. So, but in all hindsight, Sandy Hook. Okay, what did she do? First grade teacher? One day the monster came in school. She put herself between the kids. She died for the kids. Okay. Who's got that mentality? Don't raise your hand. It's a personal choice. What happened with this? It's a PE teacher at Mattoon, Illinois. She faced a student shooter. She ran and attacked the shooter, taking him down, holding him until the police came. That teacher made the decision not to deny it, but not act, but to act. She stopped the shooter. Perfect. PE teacher, what do you expect? All right, summary. Active shooter events, what do we know about them? They're called active killer now because it's a gun, a knife, or a car, or any other device. It's mass killing. We know that's bad. Disaster response. How do you react to numbers of disaster? Do you go from human brain to lizard brain, or did you not think and you go straight to lizard brain and you're done? You've got to decide how to act and avoid, deny, defend. Common sense, run, hide, fight. If you cannot get away from it, you must not let it in. If it gets in, you must stop it. You don't have a choice. You cannot just put your head in the sand and accept that. And we're talking about Virginia Tech was a huge training event for us. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer? Because I may not know the answers. Okay, I'm finished. Yay, team.
Turn this on. So, if everybody can hang out for just a second, we're going to do something real quick. I promise everybody's going to get a break, though. But first of all, I do want to thank Glenn for taking